Welcome to Redbeard Radio. I'm Brian Keith, and today we are talking about a tool for making sales that you probably aren't using right now. And you're probably not using it because it is hard and it is complicated, or at least that's what you know so far. The tool we're talking about today is cold email, and we have someone here with us who has used cold email to generate a fantastic amount of money for his clients. Welcome to the show, Alex Berman.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Now, I've been around people who have used cold email before with incredible success, but for the people who aren't familiar with the concept of cold email, can you give us a short description of what it means when you say cold email?
Sure. Cold email is sending a message to somebody that doesn't know you, pitching them your service or your product, and getting them to buy. So cold email, the way I talk about it is it's the entire business process. So it's not just sending one email, but it's coming up with a good offer, pitching it in the right way, and then closing the deal. That's all the entire cold email process, similar to a funnel building or something like that.
One of the objections that I'm sure you hear most often is, that sounds like spam. I don't want to be spamming people. I know that's bad for my email deliverability. What's your answer to that, Alex?
If you're spamming people, that is bad. What a targeted B2B cold email is an email from you sent to another business that pitches them a service that ideally they already want. So most of the work of the cold email is done in the lead generation and in the offer creation. So for instance, let's say you're sending cold email to e-commerce store owners on Shopify that have Klaviyo. Now you're pitching your Klaviyo optimization service. Tell me how that's spam. You're only sending to people that need this. They have Klaviyo. Obviously, if they're doing good, they're going to ignore the email. If they're not doing good, which let's say 90% of people could improve, you're not spamming 90% of those people. Worst case, you're spamming only 10% of those people, and they'll just delete the email.
Now, you've used this technique in the way you do cold email for a lot of people. How many companies would you say you've worked with on this?
So via direct clients, it's hundreds. Students in our courses, it's thousands. And via the free sales training on our YouTube channel, it's tens of thousands of people.
And what results are people getting when they do cold email the way you tell them to do it?
Any results. So meaning we've taken agencies from 5 million to 6 million with cold email. We've helped people go from 0 to 1 million in business with cold email. We've helped clients that are just getting a bunch of referrals. Most agencies survive off of referrals. We've helped them open up completely new lines of business and referral channels via cold email. We've helped people get jobs at their dream companies. There's a lot. I think cold email is a superpower, and most people are sleeping on it.
Why?
Because imagine being able to talk to anybody you want and then tell them about your service. There's for free. There's no other system like that. Google Ads can't do that on. You can't really do that on social media. And all the other channels that are like that are all direct channels the same way. Like maybe you send them a LinkedIn message, maybe you send them a Twitter DM, but it's all the same outreach.
Why is it that you think that so many business owners and salespeople aren't engaging in cold email?
Because it's really hard and it's a lot of work.
It's customized, right? It's not like you can buy a course that says, copy this template and then just insert the name. Like that's how spam shows up, right?
That's how spam shows up, because the offer that works for me is not going to be the offer that works for you. So a lot of these courses online, they'll say, this is the agency growth roadmap. I'm trying not to say some exact person. This is the agency growth roadmap. And you should sell lead generation to these people, and you should go here and sell this and send this exact email. Well, guess what? That works for about 20 minutes, and then the niche gets burned out because somebody spams the entire niche with the same message.
Yeah, I get all the time. I'm a Keep certified partner, and I get all the time emails saying, would you like a list of Keep users? And it's the same message sent from a bazillion different places because someone got just smart enough to use one of the apps that says, who's using these kind of forms on the website? And like, okay, I don't, yeah. It's just awful. It's embarrassing.
Exactly. And what I would say to that is, so Keep users, I would say pivot it slightly, and you could probably send messages to the exact same list with a slightly different offer and get through to them.
Even at the most basic level, that some Keep certified partners are more service-oriented and some are more sales-oriented. If you know just that, then you can suddenly start saying, hey there, so I see that you're focused on getting current Keep users to bring your firm in to do X, Y, and Z. Or, hey there, I see that you're focused on selling the Keep app to people who have already been using MailChimp. Let's talk about how I can help you convert more MailChimp users to using Keep. Suddenly, like, oh, wow, even that one tweak, I go, oh, so you actually cared the minimum to look at me. That's a completely different conversation.
And talk about not spamming.
Yeah.
Just based on that, check this out. You could send that same email to all the Keep users. Like, hey, noticed you were using Keep and MailChimp. Like, basically that whole pivot that you just did about optimizing the Keep and MailChimp together, you could blast that out to the exact same list and then let everybody filter themselves out and not even have to customize.
Yeah. And even here's the three big problems that people have when they're transitioning from MailChimp to Keep or when they're using them in tandem. Here's the big
Exactly.
opportunity. Here's the money they're leaving on the table because they didn't know how to do these things.
It's layering the offer. So one of the biggest hits that we had was marketing reviews. We were selling these for $12,000 to digital agencies around the country.
Mm-hmm.
And the original email was, we helped Dom and Tom, a New York-based agency, generate an additional $1 million in revenue, and we'd love to share our insights with you. That was the way we talked about it. But then in later follow-ups, it was a 2 ideas email. So it was like, one, we know most agencies get a lot of their clients from referrals. And so I'm assuming you do too. Would love to help you open up some new channels. And then the second one was something about marketing. I forget exactly what it was. This was a couple of years ago. But it
Mm-hmm.
was, okay, referral channels. And then the second problem was another problem that these agency owners were having, probably about lead generation. But by writing those two problems out, it's called a 2 problems email, we were able to pitch that to every agency owner, 3,000 agency owners in America. It seemed like a custom email. We weren't spamming. And actually, we did customize it based on, it was like, hey, Brian, really love the work you did with Power Rangers. So all we actually customized was that final bit, portfolio item. And
Mm-hmm.
we were able to generate $600,000 in annual recurring revenue in under 60 days.
That's a lot
That's a lot.
by being non-scalable. But so you're doing a non-scalable thing, but you're doing it at scale. What's up with that?
Non-scalable thing at scale. Yeah, exactly. So it's just another type of copywriting. And
Mm.
people come in from a copywriting background or from an ads background, and they try to write their cold email like ads, not realizing that it's a different language via email because
Mm.
it's one-to-one. It's not one-to-many. People aren't expecting to be sold. So by
Uh-huh.
coming in and writing a cold email following the cold email university process, which we can talk about what the email looks like in a second if you want,
Yeah.
then you're speaking to these customers in their language, right? You wouldn't go to Twitter and make TikToks. You make tweets on Twitter. You make
Uh-huh.
emails on email.
Yeah, I'm looking at your curriculum here at coldemailuniversity.com, and I see that that's your module 2 there, your pre-work, where you're paying a lot of attention before you actually write the thing.
The entire course, or most of the course, is focused on mindset and pre-work because issues you're going to get when you're issues you're going to get when you're sending cold emails are you're going to get turned down a lot. You're going to feel like it's not working, and you're going to want to give up right before it hits super hard. And I see it kind of like solving a Rubik's Cube. It's like as soon as you hit that, or really it's like Hellraiser. You ever see the movie Hellraiser?
Oh, it's been a long time.
Okay. Well, in Hellraiser, they have this puzzle box, and this guy's trying to solve this puzzle box. As soon as he solves it, the Cenobites show up, and kill him. But it's kind of like that. You're trying to solve this puzzle box, and then as soon as you solve it, everything changes.
I was going to say it's like a 10-day silent meditation retreat where I went to my first one and I quit halfway through. I went to my second one and I tried to quit halfway through. But thankfully, the teacher was able to talk me out of quitting. And it turns out, shockingly, that as soon as you stay through the darkest part of looking into your soul, things get in some ways better. It's still hard, but it becomes doable. And then the incredible rewards happen after you keep going.
You can see it with anything. When you crack the code of a good offer, everything changes. And when you've done it a few times, it's very clear. So for instance, not via cold email, but it relates to cold email. I just rewrote the Twitter account for my assistant, Vishal,
Mm-hmm.
and he had almost no followers. Maybe 2 hours after having this account, he doubled his number of followers. And he's now on track to get more followers because before the account didn't give anyone a reason to follow. There was no vibe. There was no like profile or hype. Then just a little bit of reframing and then you solve the Rubik's Cube and that's it. So you're
Well,
closer than you think.
you can't just leave us with that. What's your course about how to write the perfect Twitter account?
That's Twitter 10K.
Because that looks pretty interesting. So here's my trap on Twitter, Alex. I ignored the platform for a decade or two, and then finally going and diving into it. And so I'm looking at, okay, there's all these people who clearly have demonstrated expertise. So go buy this course, study that, start deploying some stuff. Oh, some progress. Buy this guy's thing over here. Go study that. Oh, some progress. When with any of these courses, if the people buying them are like me, where we have, I don't know how many courses that are not completed, not even completed the content, much less done deploying everything, how do we get in that mindset of actually consuming the course, whether it's Cold Email University, Twitter 10K, and make the time to actually go deploy this tool that we've added to our tool belt.
So I'm a lazy guy and I hate courses. Okay.
I love it.
So everything that I do is optimized for action.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that our students are, that other guru students are, is I don't think we have a single student that went on to sell courses after taking one of our courses.
Mm.
We only have business owners as students. They're running agencies. They're doing e-com, like they're doing things after running our courses because we don't teach theory. I was helping a friend redo some of his modules, and he's a trainer that was very well versed. He's been doing this for years. And the first 3.5 hours of his course, I was just spacing out. I was like, bro, you're talking about whatever ads. Show me the dashboard. Show me how to actually make these ads. But the typical old school way of doing these courses is to stretch things out and not make things actionable. So I fight against that. And that's the reason why Cold Email University, why the first couple modules are all pre-work, because we've worked with tens of thousands of people on cold email now. And I understand exactly where people get tripped up. So that's why, it seems like you'd want the course to be like tool setup, whatever, send the email, but it's really like how to frame your case study in the right way, how to think about your one sentence case study, how to look at all of the work you've done in the past and compress it down in the right way that's going to optimize, how to think about your leads. It's all this stuff that's boring and non-intuitive, but once you hit it, it speeds you up. So that's why our students aren't gurus, because our students actually succeed.
I just bought your Twitter 10K as we were talking just now.
Twitter10k.com.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Twitter 10K, it's $250, which for any business owners listening, if you get one good idea out of that or one referral as a result, you don't even have to go do everything, right? If you just get one thing, like, okay, that's an ROI.
Yeah, Twitter 10K was actually a perfect example of this. So I was going through how we made, it was like 13 or 14,000 in course sales on my Twitter, and gained, we went from 3,000 subs to 16,000 in about 3-4 weeks. And then while I was doing this course, I was like, all right, no one's going to learn from this, right? This is my account. So I posted a tweet live. We did this whole course as a live stream on the YouTube channel. I took down the stream, but we did it as a live stream, and I posted on my Twitter. I was like, does anyone want me to grow their account? And this guy, K Prime, posted, and he said, yeah, take over my account. He had 63 followers, had been doing Twitter for years. And so I took over the account. I rebranded his whole thing as the Software King, L Software King. And I negotiated an affiliate deal with SaaSwiz, and we just made his whole account, ran some ads. And within 2 days, not only did we make 5 sales of SaaSwiz's course, so $500 in revenue, but we also got him over 10,000 followers. And these are real engaged followers. I gave the account back to K Prime, and he's doing it still. He's not running any more ads anymore, and he's just writing tweets, and they're getting engagement.
That's incredible. It's fascinating. So much of my work I do is in private because it's for clients, right? So I don't even necessarily talk about who the clients are. To do something in public like that, and then to teach a course on it, I just love that methodology of watch me do the thing I tell you that you can do, and here I will do it. I love it.
It's necessary because a lot of courses, all right, I'm not calling anyone out, but a lot of courses, they teach you a system, and maybe it's something that worked 5 years ago, or maybe it's something that worked in theory, but if they don't do it in practice live right now while they're teaching the course, how do you know it works? If it works so well, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah, I love the what I teach in my membership, the Redbeard Accelerator, where we take my book, The Impact Framework, and I say, okay, there's 6 parts of your business. You're guaranteed to be stronger on some, weaker than others. If you double down on the ones you're strong on and you rectify the ones that you're weak on, your business will do better. And so we are routinely using that in our live calls, saying, okay, let's look at this from how can we get people to do this one thing, and just go and practicing it constantly.
As course creators, we don't want to do it, because I know when we were doing LinkedIn X, it was the exact same way. So my co-founder had generated 300,000 on LinkedIn. So it was a collab with him. So I was reacting to his videos. And then like halfway through, I'm like, I can't just react to my co-founder's videos. I need to do this on my own profile. So I redid my own profile and started interacting. And we booked a meeting within 45 minutes.
It's interesting because what you just said is you took a thing that might not work. You take an action that might not work, which exposes us to failure. Whereas if my only goal is to consume a course, at least the only thing I'm actually doing, I win if I consume the course. It's like eating a pizza. Ooh, I ate the pizza. Good for me.
I try to inject stopping points in the course too, where I say, if you haven't done the previous task, don't watch the rest of this course. Go back.
Mm.
And we did that. I was just helping Dennis Yu with the course last night, and I did that in his course too, because
Hmm.
his course was a lot of theory, and so we now added homework and stopping points to make sure people are actually implementing.
I love it. Having that pause is so important. I was teaching on a webinar recently about podcasting, but the person who was before me on the webinar was talking about a different topic. So I started us off by saying, okay, everyone take a deep breath, stretch a little bit. Now, what's the one thing from what you just heard that you're actually going to do? Go write that down, and then we're going to go share it in the chat. And that got everyone on the webinar to really go clear their minds and get clear on what of the previous half hour was important. And then we started into my topic area, because it's so easy to consume 100 things and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that. That's fantastic. Oh, yeah, I got it.
Got it.
It's a way of lying to ourselves, right? It's like, I will do this thing later. And because I know I will do it later, it's as if I had already done it.
Right. And I want students to shift their mindset, because I know for me, when I buy a course and it's not extremely actionable, I'm angry. I'm frustrated and I'm angry because I'm not watching it for the content. I'm watching it to get it. Like I bought a Facebook ads course, not Dennis Hughes. Dennis Hughes' new dollar a day is going to be sick. I bought a Facebook ads course off like Udemy or something because I wanted to do Facebook ads.
Uh-huh.
And I was like halfway through this course and I'd like bought, all the tools he recommended and all this stuff. Like I was just in an affiliate trap. It wasn't even a course.
Oh, no. Yeah, I have a course, a whole one course so far in Gumroad in my Twitter journey, the Stress Less System for Carefree Content Creation. And it's all about, here's why your content sucks. Here's what you're going to do to solve it. Follow this exact plan. Follow these steps. Here's the template. Here's how to use the template. Here's exactly how to set up all these apps you're going to use. It's very focused on, if you just do this, then your content will suck less and you'll be able to relax, finally.
That's interesting, yeah. And so when you go through Twitter 10K, you're gonna mess with your positioning a little bit. This is really gonna help you.
I love it. I was on a call. Actually, the name of that course came out of talking to Natalie Lucier of Access Ally on an interview for my podcast, where I shared an idea for a course I was working on. She said, oh, that name isn't very good, and here's what you could do instead. So I just changed the name and then realized afterwards that the new name needed to imply a different course than the one I was working on. And in 8 days went from renaming the thing to creating a new course to it being live, based on the inspiration from Natalie. So part of why I love having people with demonstrated expertise on the podcast is that my ignorance gets routinely exposed. And let me tell you, Alex, it is not comfortable, but it is profitable.
And it shouldn't be comfortable. It should be fun, honestly. Actually,
Yeah.
I love being completely wrong. I was wrong about Twitter for 6 years. I thought Twitter was nothing.
Ooh, yeah. Well, I invested so much of my energy in Facebook, and especially in building strong relationships inside Facebook groups in my industry, which was great. I got lots of progress in there. Fantastic. But in terms of having that larger audience that I could have been building, either if I'd invested in a Facebook page or invested in Twitter or something else, I didn't go develop that as much. Ooh, what a mistake.
And you see it as
Looking back.
in a long time frame. So for instance, like, okay, I was doing cold email training 6 years ago. In that time, Guillermo started Lemlist. Started Lemlist, grew it to a $100 million startup with his Facebook group and with his YouTube channel, right? In that time, Will started Uplead, grew it to a multi-million dollar. Now it's worth $80 million, his lead generation platform, right? So using the same exact tools, same exact processes. So could I have been Guillermo? Could I have been Will? If I had played it differently, sure. But I didn't want to at the time. And it's only by looking backward that you see, oh, I could have done this. I could have done this. I could have done so much.
Yeah, there's a million different paths, and that's part of the attraction as I'm looking at my other screen here where it says your purchase was successful and view content for Twitter 10K. I'm thinking, yeah, I've already bought, I think, 3 Twitter courses, which I've consumed some of them. Ed Lattimore's on engagement is the new cocaine. I love that one.
Lattimore, so these guys, what I like about all the other Twitter courses is the content they talk about works pretty well. So for instance, the tweet templates and all of that work really well. Twitter 10K's tweet templates, we have all the content types and all that in there, but it's done better in other courses. The things that we do well are the positioning of the Twitter account, how to write the Twitter account in a way that actually gets people to follow it, how to write the pinned tweet, how to write the first 10 tweets, and then how to promote it via ads to the right audience so that you can grow your audience immediately and make your first 1,000 and make your 10,000 followers.
That all sounds like just what I need. I can see how, because I have other parts of the business organized properly. Like I have the accelerator, the group coaching that's at an affordable price point for business owners. I have the fractional COO, the high price for only a handful of people. I have the podcast that has the lead generation. And I can see how getting a Twitter account to 10,000 people is going to make everything else in the business operate better. The things that I'm already putting the work in to do. And this little bit of gas on the fire.
Yeah. And what you'll find is it's not about the 10,000 followers. It's about the repositioning of the Twitter account to create an account that can get 10,000 followers that saves your entire business.
That is very poignant and reminds me again about meditation, that the point of a 10-day silent Vipassana retreat is not to sit in silence for 10 days. It's who you have to be to go do the thing. I'm in the middle day of 75 hard. Have you heard of that thing?
Yeah.
I'm in the middle day. Today is my day 36.
You drink your gallon?
Oh my God. I ended up buying a half-gallon jug, and that made it so much easier than drinking 4 quarts a day, funnily enough. So I have 2 half-gallon jugs, but I'm middle day. So even the person I've had to be to get to here, yes, there's physiological changes from exercising, whatever else, but the discipline to get there, right? So I'm excited about diving into this course today, and then I'm excited about being embarrassed about what I've done so far on Twitter by the time I'm done with this course.
You should. If you're not cringing, I try to cringe at everything I've ever done every couple days. Honestly, like the more shifts you can have like that, the better. I went mid-tweet, the other day. I was like, I'm so good at Twitter. I'm a master at Twitter. Right? It was something like that. Like I was really high on my ego. And then the next tweet, I realized something. I'm like, if I was good at Twitter, I wouldn't tweet that. And then I'm like, oh, I know nothing. And I tweeted that.
Yeah, it's you said ego. I think it's just that where do we place our ego? That too often we place our ego in identifying with our past selves, and your past self could be the past as recently as 5 seconds ago and what you believed. I was leading a mountain climb on Mount Daniels in Washington State near Seattle, and this was a glacier mountain climb, 3-day climb, and this is glacier mountaineering. So if you make mistakes, people actually do get killed sometimes. And we were coming around the corner, and it was a little bit rainy, and I was the mentor leader. So it was my climb, but then there was a mentor who was monitoring me to make sure I was good enough to graduate as a full climb leader. And we crossed this one more corner, and the rain's coming down, and it's not great weather. And there's me and 2 assistant leaders, and there's about 5-ish or 6-ish just participants in the climb. And we confabbed real quick, the leaders, and we said, okay, we're going to go. It's going to feel good. We're going to make it to the glacier. It's going to be good. And then one of us, a small woman as it happens, says, I don't know, but okay. And I ask her, well, what do you mean? And she shares briefly her concerns. And within a minute, all 3 of the rest of us, all tall guys as it happens, are all like, oh yeah, we're going down. Absolutely. That Meryl's opinion about this, as soon as she said it, we all went, oh my goodness, we are idiots. We didn't say it quite like that. But, and in that case, the ability to turn around may have saved someone's life, right? But in the case of, wow, what I tweeted yesterday was dumb, or what I thought was true until 5 minutes ago. So divorcing ourselves from that. And that's part of why, even as I make courses myself, I keep on buying more courses, because I know that I want to be better than I am. And there's a lot of smart people out there who, if I can just rub shoulders with them, I'm going to get better. And I'm only going to get better by exposing my ignorance to myself and then going and upgrading my abilities.
Yeah, 100%. That's all you can do. And you got to keep pushing higher and higher. You got to find people that are better and better. I was hanging out with Dennis, and like one of his friends, I thought I was a good investor. I thought I had a lot saved. And then he just casually turns around his Coinbase profile, and there's $7 million in it. I'm like, holy crap, I'm not doing this right at all.
It's fascinating. We can have a good opinion about, oh, I'm doing this. And then it's part of the thing is that it's easy to get comfortable, right? Say, oh, I know how to do this. I used to be a sword fighter. And the first few years, and really the entire time, but really the first few years, we practiced the most basic 3 movements. And the first 2 are pretty simple to learn the basics of. But the third one, the wrap, is where you swing your sword around behind someone and hit them from behind, even though you're in front of them. And it's hard to explain. It actually takes years to understand what's going on at a physiological level. But the truth is that the best sword fighters are constantly practicing the very most basic 3 shots, which we've all heard that story. But when you actually see it and then you live it, you're like, wow, the masters are practicing their flat snaps and their wraps and their backhands.
You say we've all heard that story. I've never heard that story, right? Your background's in meditation, and you're hearing all these gurus talk all the time. I'm not, right? So,
well, even just the idea of the basics. You practice the basics again and again. That you're never free. It's the whole, what is it, Bruce Lee? I don't fear the man who has practiced 1,000 kicks 1 time each, but the man who's practiced 1 kick 1,000 times. That concept we have of the basics. You don't get free of the basics. Amateurs think they evolve beyond the basics. The professionals know they never get beyond the basics. That does not exist.
What are the basics for business? I think it's the offer, It's understanding the
Mm.
target market, getting the offer right, and then getting the distribution right. That's it,
And
over and over and over again on every channel, everywhere.
I think that must be the topic of your next book or course, and we'll talk more later about that. What were those three things you just said again?
Offer, target, distribution.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm looking forward to Twitter 10K. Help me out with that. And then Cold Email University, folks, is where to go if you want to go dive deep into how to add cold email to your arsenal. And the Twitter 10K is it just Twitter, the number 10, the letter K.com?
Yes.
Fantastic. Alex, where can people find you on social media?
Okay. Depends what you want. If you want actually put together content, go to YouTube. YouTube.com/Alex Berman. If you want raw content straight from the hip, go over to Twitter.
That's
Alex Berman on
fantastic.
Twitter. My same name except for no E. Alex Berman.
Excellent. Alex, thanks for being on the
Of
show.
course. Thanks for having me, Brian.